Hello, good people of YouTube. Today, I'm bringing you guys my first impressions of the brand new Tier 8 Premium Soviet cruiser, the Pyotr Bagration, or Bagration. That sounds a little French, but I think I'm just gonna say Bagration. I know it's probably wrong, but hey, we all know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is a light cruiser with 180mm guns, with Soviet ballistics and a very flat trajectory, and that means these guns are probably going to be hitting a lot harder than normal 180mm guns do. Just got the ship now. It is a bit convoluted the way to get this ship. It's, I mean, you do still have to pay money for it. I just mean the way they have it set up is kind of weird. I originally went to the premium shop just to pay outright cash for it, but you have to go to the armory, and then that's funny. I didn't actually buy this bundle, by the way. So you go down here and you see, okay, you got the Pyotr Bagration, the Admiral pack, and then the Commander pack. So, well, I just want the ship. So then you have to go down to the Soviet Cruisers event, and then it's kind of hidden all the way down here. At the bottom, I think, yeah, mine's been removed since I just bought the Bagration, just the ship itself. Apparently I can't buy the bundle with the two other cruisers, but reviews on, I'll probably just do the how the heck you pronounce that one, the Akavoy, once I get done with the Bagration. But yeah, there's all these crazy bundles you can get if you want that. And then we do have the Talon, the oh yeah, the Tier 5 that's replacing the no, that's not the one that's replacing. That's just another premium ship. The Talon, and then the Riga. If I get those, I'll do videos on those as well, but that's some grindy stuff that I gotta get going on. Anyway, the Bagration. First impressions, I haven't looked at any of her stats or anything. No captain skills are applied, no modules have been added. So let's go ahead and look at her. She is at Tier 8. Let's look at her armor real quick. Okay, it's got that Soviet strip at the front with the 40mm. 152 belt. Does that go all the way around? No, it does not. 100mm plate covering her steering equipment. So she has the 40mm icebreaker bow right there. 25mm bow. 25mm deck. 27mm mid deck. Turrets have 175mm on the face, 80mm on the top, and 100mm on the sides, and another 210mm on the rear of the turret. Okay, let's see, where's her citadel at? Probably pretty high if it's a normal Soviet cruiser. Yep, there it is. It's above the waterline, not very high above the waterline, but above the waterline. So there we go. Alright. She has 42,000 hit points, 16% torpedo damage reduction, and her 180mm gun, she has 9 of those. Yes, 9 of those. With an 11-second reload, 30-second 180 time, maximum dispersion of 161 meters, and a maximum HE shell damage of 2,500, and a 13% chance of starting a fire, and 30mm of armor penetration. Her AP shell has 4,550 maximum damage, maximum range of 18.5 kilometer, AP shell velocity of 930 meters a second, and HE shell velocity of 920 meters a second. I find it funny that a light cruiser has more range than the Massachusetts, but you know, whatever. Okay. She has torpedoes. Are they only 4 kilometers? They are 8 kilometers. That's actually useful. So they reload 131 seconds. They travel at 55 knots, so fairly slow, but not the slowest. And maximum damage of 14,400. Okay, so we got those. AA, she has a rating of 85. That doesn't mean anything. Maximum speed 34 knots, so she's on the slightly slower side. Turn circle radius of 890 meters and a rotor shift time of 10.5 seconds. I'm sure she's very drifty, just like the other cruisers. Maximum detection by sea is 13.6 kilometers base. Okay. Let's see what she gets for her consumables. Although that's right, they got rid of all the premium consumables, so it's just all consumables now. Alright, so she has, of course, damage con. You can have defensive fire or hydro, and repair party. So her repair party repairs 210 HP per second, and it has a reload time of 80 seconds. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and kit her out with Captain. Probably just throw my Kutuzov / Spolnitz Captain on her, and we'll use him for today, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so I'll be back with you guys in a second. Alright guys, so actually I went ahead and put my Stalingrad Captain on here because Spolnitz had BFT and AFT and wouldn't really work for the Pyotr, but it does work very well with the Spolnitz, so I didn't want to respect that. So Stalin Captain's on here, probably not the best setup, but we have Preventive Maintenance, Adrenaline Rush, Jack of all trades, basics of survivability, fire prevention, and concealment expert. Again, probably not the best setup for the Bagration, but we're going to see how this works and give us an idea of how she plays and what skills I would need to grind out for her. For her modules, I went with main armaments mod 1, damage con 1, aiming systems mod 1, propulsion mod 1, and concealment. So that's what we're going to be using on her today. I'm going to go ahead and throw some flags on her, then I will see you guys in battle. Hey guys, so with these first impressions of the video, what I normally do is I play 4 games and you guys get my live commentary as I try to figure out the ship as I go along. Well, what happened here was I had a great first game in the ship, but after that, the rest of the matches were blowout matches. Meaning, like, the game ended in like 6 or 7 minutes, and I really didn't get to do too much because every time it spawned me on the opposite side of where the action was going to be at. I know the game doesn't know what way the teams are going to go, but that's just the way that it happened. I was on the other side of the map, the team enemy team either limbing to C or A, and I always spawned at the opposite cap, so by the time I got there, the match was already almost over, and I managed to farm like 20 or 30,000 damage, and then the match ended. So that wouldn't really make for great footage, but I'm going to share with you guys the experiences that I had along the way in the ship, and what she is like for my first impressions of her. So right off the bat, she does feel tanky against other cruisers. The way I was playing her probably isn't the way she was meant to be played. I was playing her more like the traditional light cruiser, going stern in, trying to get all my guns on target, and trying to just throttle juke with other ships, but that does present a couple of issues with the Bagration. First off, her gun angles aren't that great from the rear, because the turret 3, if you look at the ship, it's so far set back from the other 2 turrets that you really can't get it all on target without showing a large amount of your broadside. And yes, while the armor is pretty good against light cruisers and heavy cruisers, at least at tier 8, you know, that's not exactly what you want to be doing because you will eat more pins than you need to. And again, I was trying to make it work like that because that's the typical light cruiser gameplay, and that's probably not how it's supposed to be played. I have a feeling more of a bow-in is more appropriate for the ship, much more in lines of ships like, you know, Moskva and Stalingrad. But anyway, that's the way I was trying to play. It didn't really matter because, I didn't really see much action in the hour and a half that I played this ship except for the first game. That's another thing about the ship. It feels like a heavy cruiser. Just with how weighty it feels to turn, its rudder shift time, the turret rotation, the reload time, you know, it doesn't feel like a light cruiser, especially with some of the light cruisers that we've been getting recently that are absolute machine guns. The ship is certainly not that. It certainly feels like a heavy cruiser despite having light cruiser weaponry. And there's some goods and bads to that, you know, because, yeah, it is actually kind of tanky, like I said before. But the 10-second reload time on 180mm guns, they do pack a punch, don't get me wrong, the AP does, but I mean, still, you're only doing 4,450 maximum AP damage per shell. With 6 guns in the front, that's, if you get all citadels, that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 15, 16, 17, 18,000 damage. If you get like 6 citadels, keep that in mind. They're not going to do that damage every single time. But from my experience, you know, it's easy to get good, consistent pins with the 180mm armor-piercing rounds on just about everything except for like battleships. And if you know where to aim on battleships, you can get good, consistent pins there too. So it's good in that regard. The guns are good, except for the gun angles. Now the torpedoes are actually pretty useful. they're not, oh crap, torpedoes, someone snuck around me. You got 8 kilometers. You have a good range to work with. It's not a torpedo boat, but it's certainly more useful than the other Russian cruiser torpedoes. So, and you see that I did get to use them in this match right here. Now the AA on this ship again is actually pretty good. I know at the beginning I said, oh, it has an A rating of 85. That doesn't mean anything because on so many other ships, you can have an A rating of 90 or 100, and it feels like it doesn't really do anything. The Bagration's AA feels actually pretty good, and the game you're watching here, I shot down 21 planes against I believe it was a Tier 8 carrier. I can't remember which one. Oh, Saipan. 21 planes against Saipan, and Saipan does have Tier 10 planes, so there's that. And then in the next game against the Kaga, again, I shot down like 25, 30 planes in the Bagration because he gave me special attention. And it feels really good. And against Tier 10 carriers, the last game that I played in this ship when I was recording this review was a Hakuru, and I did a decent amount of plane damage to him. I think I shot down like 14 to 15 planes. But again, AA, it's a lot of RNG based nowadays because it depends, like where the flat clouds are going to hit. How's the enemy CV player? Is he good? Is he bad? Is he going to fly through your flag? Is he going to fly around it? It has so much to do with that nowadays that, it's hard to say, does it have good AA? From the games I've played, from the 5 or 6 games I've played in it so far, it does seem to have pretty good AA when using defensive fire. Against the Kaga game, which was the game after the one you're watching now, I managed to do 50,000 plane damage. And I only did 15,000 ship damage that match, mind you. I did 50,000 plane damage, and I came number 2 on the team. That should tell you about the teams I was having after this match. Now, the ship is also quite stealthy. If you equip Concealment Expert and the Concealment Module, you will get your detection down to 11 kilometers, which is very, very good, which means you can pretty much pick and choose your targets unless there's a carrier around. And for a Tier 8 ship that gets up to Tier 10 quite a lot, it's very lovingly good to have the ability to just pick your targets, choose when to engage, just stop firing. And I had to use that a lot when I was getting up tiered, and that's very nice to have. The ship is also pretty quick with the engine module, which makes it, again, I was trying to throttle juke it, which again, it's probably not really the way it's meant to be played, but I was doing it, and it was pretty good at that. Again, the biggest issue I was having when trying to throttle juke was trying to get all my guns on target, which I probably should have gave up trying to do that, but I wanted to do it because, again, 10-second reload on a light cruiser, again, kind of long for a light cruiser. So there is that. But again, very quick ship. Pretty good at dodging shots if you want to try the throttle juke. I'll probably try it again next time, except not worry about trying to get all my guns on targets. It is good at that if you're not trying to get all your guns on target. Now, the turret rotation, it is rather quite slow, and I find it quite perplexing that the Soviets had the technology to get the Kremlin's turrets to rotate in like 25 seconds, or 24 seconds, or 23 seconds, whatever, depending upon your build. But the Bagration has a 30-second turret rotation time on 180mm guns. That seems a little strange, Wargaming. I get the other cruisers have a very slow time on their turret rotation too, but I don't know. That just connected with me today. Like, yeah, that's a bit strange that Kremlin's massive turrets can rotate in sub 30 seconds, but the Bagration, the Moskva, and the Stalingrad all have really slow turret rotation times. And I get it's for game balancing at that, but just thinking of like a continuity of technology across the Soviet Navy. But whatever. The turret rotation is slow, but if you're a battleship player and used to pre-positioning your turrets, it shouldn't be that big of an issue for you. Where it does come in as a bit of an issue is when you're trying to sail away from an enemy fleet or an enemy push, and you're trying to keep fire on targets, and you're having to maneuver. Obviously, you're going to be outrunning your turrets a lot, so that does happen. So overall, the ship feels pretty good right now. I don't think this ship was the monster, OP, crazy Soviet ship that a lot of people were making it out to be. It feels pretty well balanced. It's pretty decent. I had a good first game in the follow-up games, despite it being lemming trains, I did manage to get about 30 to 20,000 damage in. But again, you can't really fault the ship for that because the match is ending in 6 or 7 minutes. You have to sail across the map. You don't have anything to shoot at. So, I mean, I'm going to, again, stop playing it for today because I guess my matchmaking is just terrible for today. I'll play it some more tomorrow, and my second impressions video should be up within a couple of days. But so far, it feels pretty good. It does. Is it a must-buy ship? I'm not getting that vibe from it. It feels pretty tough. The guns are good. Must buy? I don't know. If I had to give it a rating out of 10 out of this first impression, I'll give it like a 6, a 7 right now. Again, not really sure because it's hard to judge it based upon having terrible matchmaking. But feels alright. This is just the first impressions video. There will be a follow-up second impressions video within 3 to 4 days of this one going live. If you guys enjoyed, please leave your comments down below. Drop a like and subscribe. We are on our way to 15,000 subscribers. Thanks to you guys. We recently passed up 11,000 not that long ago. And hope you guys are staying safe and healthy during this time. And I also hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. And I hope to see you in the next one.